What is up, guys? Welcome back. I'm Kevin Crates. This is the channel where we go over to crypto news followed by 5 charts every day. Today we're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, AXS, Link, and SNX. And as always, if you're just here for a specific chart, timestamps are down in the description below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that bell on so you get notifications for all daily uploads. Another rough day in the market today, guys. Bitcoin hanging around 32,000, Ethereum just hanging on to 1,900, and most things are just dipping down as Bitcoin heads towards 30,000. We have a few projects having a bit of a pump today. Cosmos up nearly 15%, and XEM, I'm not entirely sure what this project is, but they are having a pretty decent day themselves. They are up around 25% today. Axie Infinity, which we'll be looking at the chart later on in the video, been following it all week long, finally slowing down, but not much. It is still hanging above $20, so this pump could keep going. But everything else that had a bit of a pump because of Axie Infinity, plays like Sand, Alice, even Flow having a bit of a pullback today. But overall, the market is looking rough today, guys. Jumping over to some headlines, we have Binance in the news again. Binance crackdown widens in Europe and Hong Kong. Regulators in Lithuania and Hong Kong on Friday became the latest to crack down on Binance, further complicating one of the largest global cryptocurrency exchanges' efforts to do business in key jurisdictions around the world. And it seems to be that a lot of the regulatory pressure put on Binance lately is due to the fact that they are offering stock tokens, which is why this next article was great to see today. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance to stop support for stock tokens. The article said stock tokens attracted concerns almost immediately. A report just a couple of weeks after the launch from CoinDesk noted that regulators in places like the UK and Hong Kong had already been examining the offerings. Binance was quoted saying, "We will be winding down support for stock tokens on Binance.com to shift our commercial focus to other product offerings. Effective immediately, stock tokens are unavailable for purchase on Binance.com, and Binance.com will no longer support any stock tokens." And in my opinion, this is the best move possible by Binance. I never personally understood why they got involved in stock tokens, and I could see and understand the backlash immediately. It is too much of an infringement on the already existing financial system, and it only adds more obstacles to not only cryptocurrency exchanges, but cryptocurrency in general on a global scale. So for those reasons, I'm extremely happy to see this, and I feel like this will start to slow down and pull back some of the regulatory news that we are seeing on the daily for Binance. We had Bank of America in the news. Bank of America to allow Bitcoin futures for some clients. Sources from CoinDesk have said that Bank of America is now allowing Bitcoin futures due to the large amount of margin it requires, making it a potentially lucrative business. And we see more of this on the daily. Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs popping up around the world, futures trading. We will only see more of this in the coming months. So this is always great to see in terms of more mainstream attention towards the crypto space. We had Cardano in the news. Cardano has completed an upgrade that will mean it can bring advanced smart contracts and DeFi to its blockchain. And this was in reference to the new Alonzo update on the Cardano network. The article quotes, "Cardano's Alonzo plan should help the company compete with the likes of the Ethereum network, whose blockchain underpins the majority of existing DeFi applications and smart contracts." We also had more Cardano news. Cardano DeFi project Spores raises $2.3 million in funding round. Spores noted that it's stepping up its game to become the first full-stack NFT and DeFi platform to integrate with the Cardano blockchain. Spores revealed that its ultimate goal is to create a cross-chain interoperable NFT platform that allows users to not only issue NFTs, but also auction and exchange assets, as well as seamlessly utilizing several other DeFi products. The CEO of Spores said in the article, "The project will build Asia's premier NFT marketplace alongside other decentralized financing tools to be the Alibaba and Alipay of the crypto world." And I did take a quick look through the Spores app after reading this article. You can see it here behind me. They have a pre-sale sign up, their white paper, their marketplace looks very interesting. They've listed out their key features, their architecture, their tokenomics, their SPO token metrics, as well as their ecosystem partners and 3-year roadmap. I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at the website. We may come back to this in a future video. You guys know I love all things DeFi and NFTs, and in terms of having a bullish future, Cardano is pretty much a no-brainer. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at Spores, and we may circle back to this in a future video, but it looks like an exciting project. We had FTX in the news again. Head of crypto exchange FTX on hiring spree in market with a lot more demand. The 29-year-old founder of crypto exchange FTX says the company has grown 3x in the last year with ambitious plans for more hires in the works. I just want to touch on this for a quick moment because we have been following the growth of FTX here, and in my opinion, FTX is going to become such a dominant crypto exchange in the coming year. They just keep pushing the boundaries with partnerships, hiring sprees, and they're always making headlines. We had NFTs making huge news today. Swiss bank issuing NFT shares in Picasso painting for $6,000 each. The article says digital asset-focused Swiss bank Signum has teamed up with art investment firm Art Mundi to offer fractionalized ownership shares in Pablo Picasso's painting for $6,000 each. And this is huge and more positive NFT news. And like I keep saying, NFTs, DeFi, these things are the front door for mass adoption into cryptocurrency, but especially NFTs. And to see something like a Pablo Picasso painting being fractionalized into NFTs is just more and more evidence of where we are headed as far as the future of NFTs. Looking at Bitcoin's daily chart here, we are seeing some very bearish setups. The RSI did not bounce back as I was expecting, and the stochastic RSI is extremely low on the daily. However, it is high on the 4-hour chart. And if we take a quick look at the 1-hour chart, it is also high. So I don't think we're going to get to see that push back up from Bitcoin that we were expecting. I thought maybe it would kind of push back up towards 3.3. That would have shocked me at this point. This looks like a very clear downtrend. We'll see some motion like this. I'd imagine the next move is going to be down. We might get a spike towards here, which we're pretty much already at. So it's really only a matter of time before Bitcoin hits our initial price target of 30K. Let's just take a quick look at the Ichimoku chart. Looking at Bitcoin's Ichimoku chart on the daily, let's jump over to some shorter time frames like the 4-hour and turn on our notes from the other day. This just looks so bearish, guys. It's already so far down below the baseline, and the baseline's kind of curving that way. As far as a push at this point, it might be able to get up to 3.3 here, maybe on the 1-hour chart. If we look over here, we can see that this area of around 323 would come up right against the Kumo cloud, kind of pressing prices down from there. But overall, there is just not much of a bullish setup in any way. The only thing it does have going for it is how low the stochastic RSI is on the daily, but you can see here, if I just move the chart over so you guys can see, it is most likely going to keep dropping. There is so much room still left for it to go. As far as price targets, we've already been talking about these ones here. If we take a look at the 4-hour chart for a while now, 30,000 to 28,000. If we look at the weekly, which we have a few times now, I'm just going to turn off all these notes so you guys can take a more clear picture of what is going on. This area here around 27, 28,000, I could kind of see being a bottom on this dip where we might see a bit of a spring back up to around maybe 38,000, but that is not guaranteed overall. This just looks like a very bearish setup going into the next few weeks. But if there is a dip, I'm going to be looking for bottom somewhere around 28,000 where we may see a spring. How high that goes is kind of unknown, but overall, this looks rough, guys. My price targets for the time being are still around 30,000, but I feel that's pretty inevitable at this point. So I'm looking more for around 28,000 now. Looking at Ethereum's daily chart, let's turn our notes on from the other day. Sorry about this mess, guys, but as you can see, I still don't have much to say about Ethereum. Ethereum hit our price target on the first one pretty quickly, and the second price target is most likely going to be hit. I pretty much say it's guaranteed at this point. I mean, nothing is guaranteed in crypto, but overall, prices are going to keep trending down. Ethereum has no reason to pump on its own anymore. So overall, 1,700 would be the price target. I'm still watching. 1,500 is possible, but I feel like it's unlikely, maybe in the coming weeks. But for the time being, I'm watching 1,700. If it gets down to 1,700 too quickly, if Bitcoin drops to around 30K, hangs out there and consolidates for a bit, it is possible that Ethereum will reach around 1,700 and consolidate around there, pushing it down to about 1,500 if there is a further Bitcoin crash. But for the time being, I'm still watching around 1,700. Let's just jump over to the Ichimoku chart. And looking at the Ichimoku chart, we see the same story. Ethereum, if we turn our notes on from the other day, price targets are still 1,700. Lower is possible, but again, I think it's unlikely. The stochastic RSI is very low, and Ethereum still looks bullish on the weekly. It may be able to even push up to around 2,300, but overall, any kind of bullish pressure right now, I would be surprised by. So for the time being, my price target for Ethereum is still around 1,700. Looking at AXS's daily chart, this is just a beast of a play. If you see here, the stochastic RSI is high on the daily, but not too high that it can't pump. And if you look at the 4-hour, it is low. So it is possible that this pump may not be over. It may pull back to just around this range, around 20, and keep going. But let's just take a quick look at the Ichimoku chart and see what we see there. Looking at the daily on Axie Infinity's Ichimoku, still looks so bullish. We are finally seeing these downward pressure candles, and that was expected. If we look at our notes from the other day, it actually did pull back to pretty much our second target here around $21. I don't know if it's going to pull back deeper. If it does, it may finally reach around 18. 16, 15 would be pretty unexpected. This level of a pullback in these downward pressure candles are expected when something was only around $3 and jumps to about $30 in less than, what is this, less than a week or two. So as far as this pump goes, the chart still looks decent. And if we look at the 4-hour chart, so looking at the 4-hour chart here, you can kind of see here, if I zoom in, we're finally seeing a bit of downward pressure on Axie Infinity just below the baseline. The stochastic RSI is low on the 4-hour though. And look at this RSI just trying to hang on to 50 in an uptrend. If we jump to the daily, I mean, there is still potential for this to pump, but I'd imagine maybe it finally pulls back to around this $17, $18 range that we've been talking about. So it might actually pull back to this area here. If it hits that, there is the possibility for it to drop through to 15. There you go, just like the other chart. So I would look for these lower price targets, but I would look for it to also potentially bounce and keep going up. But between price targets, just like it showed on the daily, somewhere between 18 and 15 are possible on the low end. But if this can build up some momentum and start moving up again, there is still room for it to pump. But price targets, I would kind of look for either a bounce or somewhere around $18 to $16. All right, looking at Link's daily chart, and this is one of the more rough looking charts. Had a good bounce off the initial May 19th crash, but ever since then, it has just been trending down. The daily stochastic RSI is extremely low. It's never really, other than maybe one time on July 9th, attempted to kind of push back towards 50, not even quite reaching there, kind of stopping around 48, showing that it is still in a downtrend. Stochastic RSI is also kind of high on the 4-hour. If we look at the 1-hour, also high. So that kind of indicates that Chainlink is most likely moving down towards some of these lower price targets. So I would honestly watch for something more in the range of $14, maybe 14 to, and if it drops below 14, it could kind of have a clear break towards $10, to be honest. Somewhere between $10 to $14 would be my price targets for Chainlink. There is not much reason for this to pump at the moment, and if Bitcoin crashes, I would not be surprised to see it kind of head into this range down here. It would probably hit this target of around $14 first. If that goes, it could even go as low as $10. Let's just take a quick look at the Ichimoku chart. Looking at Link on the daily, let's turn our notes on. This chart looks rough. It is just dropping. In terms of the 4-hour, let's take a quick look at that. Yeah, this is, I mean, at the most, it might press up and to kind of challenge this price range, 16, 17, but there is just a lot of resistance. If there is a bit of a pump, that is always possible. Those are the prices I would look at. But in terms of Chainlink crashing, I would keep my eye somewhere between 10 to around $13, $14 in terms of a crash. So price targets for Chainlink are in the lower end, around $10 to $14. Looking at SNX on the daily, if I turn my notes back on, this chart looks rough, but it doesn't look that rough. The RSI on the daily is still trying to stay in the uptrend zone. It's kind of just hit our price targets down here that we talked about. But overall, this price target of around $7, to $8 is also possible in terms of a crash, because as far as the RSI goes, the stochastic RSI is not that high. So in terms of a drop, I can't see it really reaching these lower price targets. These higher price targets are where I'm still looking for SNX. But as far as the market goes, if Bitcoin keeps dipping, there is not much SNX can do. But SNX does have some pretty big dates coming up, I think later on with the Optimism launch. So let's just take a quick look at the Ichimoku chart. Looking at the 1-day chart, you can see here that SNX really did want to get bullish but got pulled down by the market dipping. And if we take a quick look at our notes from before and jump into the 4-hour, you can see it is moving as expected. We talked about the 10.7 target. We talked about this 9.5 target. And if the 9.5 target got hit, I would have expected, and I still do expect, this 8.5 target to get hit. But because Bitcoin is in such a downward spiral at the moment, we're also going to add one more price target down here, which is just around 7275. That's a little low. Raise it up. So around 75, as we saw on the other chart, would be a possible price target. I don't expect SNX to drop too much lower than that, and I expect once the market finally finds some stability, once Bitcoin finds a landing spot and starts to bounce, that if it reaches this price target or reaches this price target, SNX will start to work its way back up leading into the end of July. But as far as price targets go for SNX, I would start watching out for these lower ones we talked about. 8.5 is probably going to get hit soon. And if 8.5 is hit before Bitcoin drops lower, I would expect SNX to reach around 7.5 as a bottom potentially. Any of these lower price targets around $5, I just can't see that happening for SNX. So price targets for SNX at the moment, 8.5 in the coming days, and then 7.5 if there is a huge crash. But leading into the end of July, I'm still bullish on SNX. All right, folks, that's all for today. If there's any charts you want me to look at in the future, leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn that bell on so you get those notifications. If you're not following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_ on Twitter. I'm extremely active on there. Anytime you tweet at me, I will always tweet back at you. I hope you all have a great day. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm out.